Good morning. You guys know or you're aware of what's going on in the world regarding Google about being a monopoly and things of that sort. So while Monday's ruling is a significant setback to or for Google, it could pave the way for a more competitive and dynamic tech industry. The road ahead will undoubtedly be very complex, for Google and as well as other tech industry or the tech giants. So with more legal challenges, this momentum, this market, it's a critical turning point in the ongoing debate over the power and influence of big tech companies. So these big tech companies are just in charge of everything. So as you all know, on Monday, a federal judge ruled that Google violated antitrust laws, and they did violate these antitrust laws to maintain its dominance in the online search market. However, the idea that Google is a monopoly is far clear, or it's not that clear, because with over 30 or more search engines, including Yahoo, uh, there's Bing, there's DuckDuckGo. How is Google a monopoly? And the rise of platforms like Amazon, TikTok, and Pinterest for search, these functionalities just means that the competition is big. The competition is robust. So the argument that's against Google being a monopoly is because of Google's popularity. Google's popularity stems from customer preference, not antitrust practices. The US Justice Department argues that over 90% of web searches are made on Google. But this reflects Google's quality rather than their unfair practices. So consumers can choose other search engines, and Google deals with companies like Apple and Samsung, and they only make their products more convenient, not exclusive. So Samsung or Apple, you cannot say it's a monopoly just because they're the most popular. So antitrust law traditionally relies on the consumer welfare standards, which requires proving a company is a monopoly, has used its power, and has harmed consumers. So Google, despite its dominance, hasn't crossed these lines at all. The case against Google is part of a broader trend driven by figures like Lina Khan to challenge large corporations under the guise of protecting consumers. But it risks undermining the free market principles that foster competition and innovation. So when you're going against such a company, then you're trying to limit innovation and, of course, a free market. I mean, if you build something that everybody likes and you're not doing anything to kill your competition, then there's no antitrust break over there. So arguments supporting the court for the ruling of monopoly, basically the court decision acknowledges that Google's dominance isn't purely a result of better technology, by spreading billions of elusive contracts. So Google has stifled competition and solidified its monopoly because of using, spending billions of dollars on elusive contracts. So the ruling highlights 5 key reasons. Number one, strategic monopolistic practices. So Google's exclusively deals creates barriers for competition, limiting consumer choice. So when you have a contract with them, it's like limiting consumer choice. The other thing is, number two is control over data. So Google has gathered data. So Google controls over vast amounts of user data given, or this gives it an unfair advantage in search and advertising materials. So because of their data, they have an advantage over other companies. Number three is the impact on advertising. So Google's dominance in search engines enables it to dictate terms in the online advertising market, hurting similar businesses. So they're in charge of creating tabs. So number five is consumer harm. So Google or Google's practice reduce consumer choice and potentially increases costs. Because when there's competition, the costs go down. But now they believe because of Google's these five things, strategic monopolistic practices, control over data, impact on advertising, suppressing innovation, and practices that reduce consumer cost, and also suppressing innovation. So while Google is innovative, its focus on maintaining dominance might stifle the broader industry innovations. So that's how Google was ruled against on Monday, just because they're innovative and big and they control data and things of that nature. So what's next? So this ruling on Google is just the beginning. Obviously, Google is going to appeal, potentially dragging the case for years and years, for a long time. Meanwhile, regulators may impose restrictions or push for separating Google or separating Google's search business from its other ventures. So this could also inspire other tech companies to innovate and offer other alternatives, promoting a more competitive market. So basically, that's the intention. Of course, Google is going to appeal, but regulators may impose restrictions or push for separating Google's search business from its other ventures. So globally, this case may set a precedent for other antitrust actions against tech giants like Amazon, because they also have the same kind of issues. Apple may also face, and of course, Facebook. So leading to a new era of antitrust enforcement that reshapes the tech landscape as we know it. So while this ruling is a significant setback for Google, it opens the door for a more competitive future in the tech industry. The journey ahead will be very complex, and it will be filled with legal battles, but it's a pivotal moment in the ongoing debate over the role of big tech in our economy. So things are going to change. Please be on the lookout. Thanks.